figure is hazardous.
Gonna ask that.
Scott Morley, Select Board.
Gary Keemet, Select Board.
Dan Webster, Select Board.
Matt Maxwell, Town Administrator, start back.
Richard Hancock. Interest Area Constable.
Yeah, Chris Roy, resident in Newport Daily.
Buddy, we also have Dave Barlow and Deb Hangway. Any changes tonight to the agenda? Or
I have, I don't know if anybody else got it, VLCT. They're looking into a contract for road salt. And we have by Friday to express interest, and it says expressing interest does not obligate the town to purchase off the state contracts. I don't know if that's something we wanna opt into, cause if they get a better deal than we get elsewhere.
You wanna just run it down,
sure.
take a peek at it.
Yeah, there was a spot on their website to just, well, the email had a place to click just to put your name on the list.
Okay.
Thanks.
Mhm.
And probably should put, Airport Road cows. We have that on this big, you got quite a list here tonight,
No,
just, a 3 minute.
sure, yep. Okay, public comment, anybody out there?
I'll start timer 3.
All right, and we will go to our first.
Actually,
Yep.
yeah,
Go ahead, Chris.
the town, the road department's still doing a great job.
Thanks.
They did an excellent job on my hill.
Somebody on the Lane Road told me the same thing. What a great job that the town, they did this winter with the snow plowing, and
Yeah, and even
they
the
did a really
spring,
good job.
Cool.
I'll pass that on to Nathan, I'm sure he'll be happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay.
but I'm quite like scared because he's somewhere, and I said, we got a snowstorm coming.
Yeah,
One for the hills.
okay, town accountant, you should have in the file there, the, information that was sent to us
Hey,
by the potential candidate for that town accountant position.
The Stone Shore
Yes,
Municipality.
that's the one, yep.
So Matt, you've talked with her
I have twice.
twice? Oh, okay, good. I've talked with her last week, I think, had a very nice conversation for half an hour maybe. I read what she sent you. Everybody, that's what you're talking about right here.
Mhm.
So I think probably after hearing the conversation with you and then hearing the conversation with me, which is essentially what we've been talking about for a while now, she put that together just sort of as a, first stab. I don't know if she's talked with the auditor or not. I think she was going to, but probably she hasn't until we have another conversation like we're having tonight. So just to refresh that, right, we got that name from the auditor.
Yes.
As someone who had worked for him and others, and currently has other accounts, but she's not working there anymore. But he referred her and another,
Yes.
two
names, yep.
names that Matt followed up on. And so she is currently living out of state. She lives in Florida. Tell me when I get any of this wrong.
Nope.
She lives in Florida. She still does remote work in these sorts of things for other clients in the state. And would be willing to have that discussion with the full board if you guys are interested in this. And so that's why she, I think, got to that next level and put something together. Just gives sort of the frame of and the scope of what she's thinking that we need, or the thoughts and opinions that Matt and I had expressed. I think she took that and then created this just as a draft to keep everybody focused. So, you know, really, she sounds pretty good to me. She comes with what we were looking for, at least, which is municipal accountant background, and sort of, I think, a bonus if we were to have more discussions with her is, you know, her work in the audit with auditing. So she's kind of got that whole thing. And she just, I saw prices somewhere. Did she put prices in there?
$90 an hour.
90.
Yeah.
And I think it had, did it say 10,000?
Up
Yeah,
to 10,000
Up to 10,000.
through December 31st.
So I thought that actually sounded fairly reasonable if we were able to create an opportunity to get all the things moving that we want to get moving. And a lot of that, I think, would come from her. You know, she would be the expert sort of that we're looking at for to take a look at everything that we do. And give us her thoughts and opinions and recommendations on adjustments or no adjustments. So there it is for you guys to ponder and think about. We can do anything that you want to do.
So if she zoomed in and to a meeting, or we could go to Florida. Just kidding.
I hadn't thought about
What a good idea.
Maybe not this time of year. Well, I know with all the rain. Some ideas of what she would do for us above and beyond what Dave does, what Deb does, what the auditors have done.
Yeah, so. Going back to those conversations, right? What we've discussed, and I certainly. Am advocating for it. Is to. Going back to that roles and responsibilities and what does the select board do? What are the, you know, is the select board responsible for, and how do we get all of those things accomplished? How do we task it out, right? Whether they're employees or other town officials, in this case with money stuff predominantly, we're talking about the treasurer and the duties and roles and responsibilities that he has. And so that's been the discussion that I've had with the town's attorney a number of times, with the auditor a couple of different times, with you guys in a couple of sessions, with Matt a number of times, with David. And so, and with her the other day, we talked about that. And I think there's general consensus around that, looking at statutorily what treasurers do. That doesn't mean that that's the only thing they can do, right? Every town is unique and different, and sometimes they're tasked to go out beyond those statutory responsibilities, which is essentially what we've been doing. But I think it's time with the money that we have, we're very fortunate, and all the moving parts that we have and the things that I've heard from all those professionals, that it's probably time that we sharpen up a little bit on all those accounting pieces. And so I think she agreed, actually. I think everybody has so far. So that's what really she would be able to sit with us, zoom in with us, I suppose, and work with Matt and David and identify those things further and adjust a lot of those recommendations that we received from the auditor, like, you know, the manuals and all that stuff. She would be help facilitate, if not do a lot of that work. So however, the next step is that everybody feels comfortable with it. I'm fine with it. If you want to call her on the phone, I've talked with her, Matt's talked with her, you certainly should or can individually before you got to a Zoom meeting. If it's something you'd like to do or feel comfortable doing that, I'm sure she would do that.
You want to send me her phone number, or it might be in the email between you guys.
It's on her, it might be on her thing, if not, I would.
This one it's not on.
No.
I think you gave it to me, so you must have it, Matt.
Yeah, both of us.
So you want to do that in the next little bit
Yep.
and tentatively, maybe you'll have to follow up also and see, you know, the moving parts about what makes the most sense after that happens.
Yep.
If you wanna schedule a Zoom for the next meeting. But give these two enough time to do what we've been able to do, and then. Or if you don't think you wanna move that fast, then just tell Matt, and he can bump it a meeting, but.
And the other one? Was there another one? We mentioned there was two.
Wasn't interested,
Wasn't
maybe?
interested.
Okay, we talked about that last week.
Yeah, they had other stuff going on and didn't, or in the position to be. So.
All right, well, I think that's a good plan.
Yeah,
If you can
definitely.
share that number and you guys reach out to her.
Yeah.
So you can have a discussion and we'll go from there.
Okay, very good. All right, next up, we have the grand list extension. I think you've all seen the emails from Matt Krajewski about that and what his reasoning is for asking for the extension. I think it, the thing's up there,
Is it in this
needs to
packet?
be signed by Scott.
Oh, yeah, right there.
So
What
it
is
wasn't,
this?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I haven't seen this. What is it?
So our grant, we have to file our grand list every year. I think well, I don't know, maybe end of May. I'm not really sure what the date is. And Matt needs a 30-day extension. Or he hasn't gotten all the information back from the utilities in town, like Washington Electric, Vermont Electric.
Ron Electric came today, I
Whatever.
think.
We've got a bunch of information that he hasn't received, so he can't put that into our grant list until he's got all that information. It's a pretty common.
Yeah.
thing.
I was just gonna say, I don't think it's uncommon
No,
that it
it's-
happens.
yeah, I think this happens a lot, at state, because the information just isn't there and bring to file it all the time, so they do these extensions and, like Carrie said, we got the information today, so we'll.
All right, and so this is a state form.
Yes, well, I believe so. It was provided to us by Matt Krajewski.
Right. And so I think this is one of those times where it's just calling
Vermont
for,
Department of Taxes.
yeah, it's just calling for one authorized signature, and I think they just always had that for
Mhm.
the chair, which is, we normally all do it, but. So Matt's K is telling us that we have to do this, so I think we probably better.
We have
listen
to do it.
So,
He can't do his job if we don't do that.
yeah, you should probably motion that.
Motion,
Yes.
motion to approve the extension for the grand list form PBR 4342 for Matt Krajewski.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next up is the crushed gravel contract. Thanks, Scott.
We have here. There you go.
In there's actually two. We've got two bids. One of them from Kingdom Gravel and Aggregate, and then the other one from Manchester something. What's that say, Carrie?
Manchester Brook Materials would like to
Manchester, yeah.
bid. They underbid.
They did, so they're the lower ones.
How much?
$6.47 a yard versus, I think that was $7 a yard.
And how many yards are we looking at doing?
10,000.
10,000 yards.
So is that a New Hampshire company?
No, they are from Reigate, Vermont.
So is there, without looking at, is there a moving expense? Is that inclusive of the move?
This one doesn't include the move.
It's like I said, he just sent me an email. It doesn't really go into detail the way the other one does. So I mean, and that email that came in, you could probably see the timeline. It came in about
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
an hour before this meeting started.
Oh, tonight?
I didn't really have a lot of time to.
Yeah, they're
This-
missing some.
Yeah,
I'd
he
say
got it
that-
in last, but I told him, we talked last week and he said, can I put a bid in? I said, yeah, you got till 5 o'clock on Monday, and he took that pretty literally.
Because this has a stripping option, which is what? The top, the material excavate and remove the stripped material from the property. If they keep it, or excavate and leave the stripped material on site for $6,500. Is that like the sod and the,
Whatever's not gravel, right?
I would assume, I don't know.
so they're not apples to apples, that one would need, I don't know when they need this by, because they probably wanna get going on it.
Let me see it. What are your suggestions, Matt?
I mean, obviously I like to use the cheaper option when it's there, but
Mhm.
you know. I know these guys because they're local. They don't know too much about that other thing, but I don't think, gravel is, as long as they got the equipment, I think pretty much anybody can do it, so. I mean, that's a pretty significant savings. Going with it, as opposed to going with the people that did it last year.
But there's gotta be a cost for stripping.
I would think so. I mean, I wish Nathan was here to answer those questions, cause he might
Yeah.
know better, but he's on vacation, so.
And then moving that thing is,
He
like you
just
said,
asked.
you don't just move it.
Right, and he did, I don't think Nathan doesn't even know about that other bid. He just figured that they would be the only ones, and we used them because we did last year. The reason he wanted this in this meeting is so we could get on the list, cause sometimes it's to the end of the fall when they start to do that. He wants to make sure he's got that gravel ready for the winter. So it was a timing thing for him.
We don't have a phone number for this person.
No, but I can help that.
Well, I mean, I could forecast some problems, right? I mean, Kingdom's done it for the town for a number of occasions.
At least they
And-
did it as far as I did here.
Yeah. And the last time they were here, there was an issue with finding the appropriate material.
Mhm.
And so they spent a lot of time in our pit for us, I think. I know, and I don't believe they passed that cost along. Finding the vein that we needed,
Right.
and they're telling you here that where that is, because they found it.
Mhm.
And so they know that to get to that material, there's a $6,500 cost for stripping.
Mhm.
This company doesn't know that.
Right.
And it's $5,300 savings
Yeah.
without the stripping.
Yes. So, I mean, we're pushed to make this decision.
You're not pushed to make, you're never pushed to make this. I mean, you can, it can definitely go 2 weeks. It has to. I just Nathan asked for it to be.
So he's trying to make sure that we're in the line,
Wants to get in
right?
the queue. But I don't, you shouldn't make a decision if you're not, don't force yourself to do something.
When we crush gravel, we're gonna crush 10,000 yards.
Yeah,
We get 10,000 yards of
we
gravel.
get 10,000 yards of gravel, put in the backs of the truck and.
So I wonder if we used
And-
all of last year's and it was a busy winter too.
But we're using less and less gravel and more salt every year to pave.
What is a load of gravel cost? Must be been somebody has done that. What's a yard of gravel cost? What do they charge for gravel?
I don't know what the yardage is. You mean like Hawkins, if you just went and bought it, I don't know. Why don't you do some work on that for us?
Good talk, Nathan.
Talk to Nathan, you and Nathan get together with these, look at them and.
Bring it back next meeting.
Yeah. I mean, the bid was the bid, but
Right.
That one, I don't know,
there's just nothing there.
yeah.
I mean, unless you guys are just comfortable doing this, it's like,
Everybody's calling me tonight. Sorry.
you're busy.
It's all family. The only ones that ring through is family.
How's that work, Matt? You set a deadline.
I did, yeah. Today was the deadline, but,
Yeah,
I mean, we don't have to take any more bids. Just say that. Just go back and get more information from that. What was the name of it, Carrie?
Manchester Brook Materials.
Manchester Brook Materials.
I find it hard to believe someone,
Right, I mean, the.
without
the
even coming,
one
when
from-
they wanna look at a pit or.
Yeah, the one from Sycard, that's a pretty good bid. I mean, that's,
All the
Pretty
details
thorough.
are there.
yeah, all the details there, Sycard.
that's why I was saying, I kind of forecast some problems. You getting some bills that you didn't know were coming.
Right,
Or like these guys last year, they just have to eat the cost of searching.
or you can decide to award it to Sycard tonight.
Dan,
I think we should wait, maybe,
Get more information from this one.
you know. How do you know that they searched around for gravel?
who,
You,
last year?
yeah,
Oh, it was a lot of conversations on it. They
that's.
called us and said that we weren't gonna have enough. Up there, it was a lot of sand. And so one of their employees who had been there before, I think it was Curtis. Spent a bunch of time digging around and found some. Found a good vein, and so then they went through the work of excavating it out of there. So they know. Yeah. Yeah, that was a little bit of drama.
I'm just gonna shut my phone off.
It sounds like, at first I thought it was outside.
Yeah, nope.
So you wanna wait or you wanna do? Kingdom,
I'd wait for more information.
give it 2 weeks.
Sure. Yeah.
Yours, Matt, so you and
Me and Nathan will
Nathan get
talk
together
about it
and
and we'll
tell us what to
get some more
do.
information from those people and.
Yep.
Right. All right, next up is Hancock Hill.
Well, I put that one on there, I don't think we fixed Hancock Hill.
Not fixed yet.
No,
So they got the letter.
they got the letter. They did call, without them calling. I don't think we fixed it. They're supposed to go and hay it themselves, crop it themselves. And it's as vague as the deed. That are we gonna go up there and make sure that they're doing it for themselves?
Put some
So-
game
so-
cameras out. Just kidding.
So what are you talking about?
Did you talk to them?
Yeah, they wanna swap rights.
Oh, they're making a proposal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, now I got you, so, all right,
And before that, I'm thinking. Just what I said, it's just what we sent them saying they have to. Crop it for themselves, no third party involved. It's still. One of us could have a problem with what they're doing. And in maybe 10 years, none of us have a problem with what they're doing. That makes sense? So, and then they had proposed swapping the rights. We can't go down the road. And they want a gate. And they'll give up the rights for. Property.
But we need to go down the road
Make
unless we
another,
build a new road.
build a new road.
so, remind me on this, you guys, so. The town's attorney, after our meeting. Crafted a letter and sent a letter on our behalf to. The Osphurics. And in that letter. It was generally. requesting them to meet with the board. And the attorney. Right, that's where we had left that off. So that would flush all that stuff out and not have to try to do that here in a meeting, but do it with the attorney and with you and with Matt or whoever. So that a good proposal that had already been back and forth and that everybody sort of, got a handshake agreement to do. Cause I think there's probably apt to be a lot of that back and forth, so. Board that, did they communicate with you that they
Just-
received the letter and we're gonna?
Yeah, said they got the letter.
Okay,
Me not having the letter in front of me,
right.
thinking about,
Leave it to
well,
Matt.
yeah. On the phone,
Right,
um,
cause that letter there doesn't really say this is what the town wants. Right, this letter is legal.
Let's talk.
Yeah, legal jargon for the town wants to have a conversation to try to remedy the problem. And here's what the problem is that we see. But wasn't putting in that letter proposed solutions. That would come from the sit down conversation.
okay,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it doesn't, you're not in a corner on any of that. You're full open opportunity to sit down with Brian. Brian giving legal advice on, any different approaches to those issues with our legal interests in mind. And I think that's what you need to do.
so it would be Brian, them,
Matt
Matt,
and
Yeah,
you, if you would
yeah.
like to,
sure,
so it wouldn't have to be done,
yeah,
in a meeting, and it's more comfortable for folks, I would assume. If it certainly can be in this meeting, if they would like to do that, we certainly can do that. But I think it allows an opportunity for people to speak more freely if they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, now that letter was pretty specific in giving an amount of time for them to communicate,
But they did.
right? So Matt, coordinate that communication with Brian
Okay,
and Dan,
yep,
well, probably the board at this point.
Okay.
Just letting them know, right, Dan, that they had reached out to you and have that conversation.
Okay.
About what he thinks, what that. That's what he's gonna tell you. He's gonna tell you, they gotta sit down with us
Yeah.
and have a conversation. It can't be
at some point. Regardless, we all gotta sit down. Yeah,
well. That sit down is our, we choose the deadline and we chose 30 days. For them to respond to us, to at least then schedule that.
Yeah.
So that time is ticking. I think that we should let everybody know that. So that's what you need to do, Matt,
okay,
is communicate that with Brian and ask him what his thoughts and opinions on that are.
on Dan's communication, the observes.
Yeah.
Got it.
That satisfied?
Yeah.
For the moment.
If we can't figure it out, we can always look for gravel. Not that I wanna go there, but.
All right.
They wanna take away the road, we have to build a new road.
the last part, what were you saying with the lawyer and me?
I'm going to let Brian know that the observers reached out to you and he's gonna say, okay, let's get him to sit down and talk with you and Brian or whatever.
Let's just schedule on a date,
Yeah.
we can all, okay,
Yeah.
yep,
let's get
good,
Dave to sit down to talk with the observers. Then that will include Brian, hopefully that's not gonna be a. No. Non-starter for them. All right, next up, we have the management letter, Sullivan and Power. Got there somewhere in that file.
There it is.
Last one.
Yeah,
For the response.
What
to
do we
the
got?
Audit.
it's pretty basic. Dave, you there?
I'm here.
You want to talk about that, the management letter? It's pretty standard, right?
Yes, it's the same language as every year,
Yeah,
but it's, in my opinion, it's a select board level letter.
yeah.
Who wrote the letter?
It came from the auditor,
And from the auditor.
but it's meant to be from the select board to the auditor.
Right.
They're just helping.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're prompting.
Yeah, and they asked me to put it on town letterhead for you guys.
I read it the other day, Dave. I didn't see anything unusual in there. Did you?
No, it's the standard stuff, but just, Rick seemed to think I should sign it, and I disagree.
Yeah. I'd say you're right. I support you. So we should all probably sign it, but I think we should just get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I make a
Well, you guys are
motion.
good.
I make a motion to what, approve and sign the management letter response to Sullivan and Powers regarding the audits.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Good.
June 2nd.
You're all three to sign, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, good. That piece is done.
For you.
Okay, now we have the Westview investment account information. So you, as you know, they provided us with a bunch of forms. And we've got to decide, or you have to decide, you guys have to decide whose name you want on those forms.
Okay, so
And what level of permissions?
Yes,
They pre-selected some level of permissions that I personally don't agree with. It's not what we're authorizing currently, so there's that piece as well.
what,
So where? in
say
there?
that, Dave, what's going on?
They want the tough, well, the highest priority one in my instance is they want authorization to basically do anything, anytime with any of the money. Including shifting it between accounts of like authorization. So for example, or like registration. So in essence, as I understand it, and it also could use some discussion with them, it would mean they could wire money into our CNB account and take money out of it, from what I read of this. So I think that's not the right level of authorization for them. But I think it needs some discussion with them to clarify the different elements. I don't know if you have the paperwork in front of you, it's page 4 of 7.
Wasn't me that time. Shut mine off.
And I don't know if you do, Matt, do they have that paperwork in front of them?
I have it, Dave.
Yeah.
We have it.
Yeah, page 4,
Level 2.
they pre-checked level 2.
Yeah.
As I read through that, I think it really ought to be level 1, first party only. But again, could use some clarification with them.
So let's back up one step if we can, Matt.
Yep, sure.
So we're at the step now where the firm that we've selected is sending us the details,
Right,
the legal details of engaging with us. And so that's the documents that you have.
right. And I put some, you can see I got sticky notes on there about what has to be done in certain.
Right. So you and I talked about that a little bit, but not a lot.
Right.
So one of the things, so we have a few things to think about and discuss, right? One is our current investments. There's 3 accounts
With Fidelity, yeah.
with Fidelity.
Yeah.
We need to make those decisions about where that money in each of those 3 accounts goes. Right?
Yes, you do.
Because those aren't all long-term investments.
No.
One account is long-term investments.
Yeah.
One account is the education fund.
Yeah, EDT or something.
Yeah.
And the other one's a cash.
And one is a cash account.
Yeah.
That David's been using.
Yep.
So those 2, the education and the cash accounts, I don't believe should go there to this new investment company. I believe the investment company should be utilized as our long-term investment company, not the other. And I haven't talked to David about this yet, but I think you have a little bit.
Yes, David and I have talked about it a little bit, yeah.
And so, David, are you in with a similar opinion on that?
That'd be fine. There's actually another account involved that's currently in with the town investment that needs to come out, and that's the cemetery fund. So yes, it would be good to unwind that a bit. Give these folks the town investment fund only.
Right. And so if that were the steps we took, which I certainly agree with, what would the unwind look like on those other accounts, David? Is that a simple thing to do, to bring that back to the town? And if so, where would you recommend that it go?
Well, we could, there's a couple different approaches, but probably the simplest immediate response would be to move only the town investment account within Fidelity to, is it Westview?
Yeah.
And have somebody, probably directly with Fidelity, set up an additional brokerage account to hold the cemetery fund that's not going to move.
So are the education and the cash account?
Those can at least temporarily stay at Fidelity, just coming under direct town control, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I don't think ultimately that necessarily Fidelity is the best place to have that stuff, but in terms of it doesn't need to happen immediately. But this town investment fund does need to happen, and of course, it stays at Fidelity as well. It's just the Westview gets a level of control over it. And page 4 delineates what that level of control would be. So,
That's another meeting with them, whether they come here or Zoom in or,
well, I think it can be a Zoom meeting. And I just recommend that, you guys designate a rep to have the discussion at least. You can vote on it afterwards, of course, but
Mhm, yeah.
I wouldn't want to hold that sausage making in a meeting, a regular select board meeting.
Mhm.
But that's up to you. You could, of course. And there's not to throw any more complication, but there is a sort of a minor, but it's not a completely minor issue on page 3, where they want us to authorize them to have all voting rights to the investments that the town owns. And the reason why that can get kind of tricky, and I don't think we should give it to them, at least in a couple of the cases, is the sort of concern you run up against in the investment world with de-investing from, so let's say, petroleum companies, or de-investing from companies that are based in pick a country, all of which is political in nature. So I guess I would recommend not letting Westview be your voice on those votes. Whether you choose to make the votes or not is sort of immaterial. You just don't know what they're going to do with that. And if I'm just talking completely by you, let me know. But whenever you own stocks, bonds, stocks in particular, you have votes based on the amount you own on corporate boards when they meet and make big decisions about what's happening in the company. And page 3 is where the Westview is saying, yeah, we'll handle that for you.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that, Dave.
Yep.
I don't like that approach. It doesn't mean you have to exercise that vote. You don't have to do that. You don't have to vote necessarily. Right. You could if you wanted to, but right. I don't think you want to have Westview doing it and you don't know what they're doing. So,
yeah. All right. Well, I think we're gonna kick it to another meeting, Matt, because there's too many questions. You're giving me more things to think about there. And I would have to think about, I'd have to hear from Westview, and I would have to potentially, we may want to listen to Brian on some of this. But I'm not sure about leaving those accounts at Fidelity either. So I think we might have to think about that a little bit at the current. Because that was wasn't that one of the?
Yes.
It's a decision to make. I'm not saying that it would not fall under, I don't think. I'm not advocating leaving it under the existing advisor at all. It would just, I don't know that there's a pressing need to move those as quickly as there's a pressing need to move the town investment. But and again, it's not actually moving. We're just handing the authority to the advisor.
Right. Yeah, it's right. Yeah.
And there's other choices that I think might be better for the town with those other accounts with a different brokerage firm, but that's not something that we need to iron out right now. Yeah, I mean, if you want, we can set up. I'm happy to talk with any of you individually about it. That'd be it's fine, or talk with Matt about it.
I wanna push it to a couple of weeks at least, you guys. Do you have any questions? Did that raise anything for you with Dave or?
I've
or
never
us?
looked at it like that as far as the voting and what he was talking about. So that was just.
Yeah, the voting was really very simple for me. I think Dave and I agree on that, which is we shouldn't sign away our right and ability to vote and take a stand on whatever we want to or choose not to, which is essentially what we'd end up doing. But it's the other moving parts I have to think about right now, which is we have a Fidelity account. It has the 3 accounts. We're moving the stewardship of that from one firm to another. The money still stays at Fidelity. Now they're going to, when Westview does get that money, they're going to reinvest it. They're gonna move it around within Fidelity. I have the questions that I have are those other 2 accounts. I don't think that they should have those other 2 accounts. I think that those accounts should come home. And that's the conversation that we really haven't had. And I haven't heard what Westview might say about that, and I have to have some time to think about that too. Have you dug in, you probably haven't dug into that.
No,
Um,
Yeah, cause I'd want clarification of what. Level 1, level 2. What they can and can't do.
yeah. Yeah. So. Let's kick it in the can for a couple of weeks. We do that a lot lately.
what do you want me to say to Westview? Or do you wanna call Westview or?
I'm definitely gonna call him. You can
Okay.
call him too, but I wanna flush that out with, I can't remember his names, but
Ben?
Ben. And I'll need to, I'll read these or get copies of them.
Okay.
So that I'm educated on that, and then we can. If they feel, if Ben wants to come zoom in or something and have that discussion with all of us, that'd probably be the best thing to do, but.
Yeah.
You know, I could get the ball moving that way.
Maybe for the next.
Right.
Next up, we have the town administrator search.
Find one.
I haven't even started searching.
Alright, time's going fast, right?
Yeah, so just tell me what approach you want me to take here, how wide a net you wanna cast, or what you would like me to do. I mean, there's some resources available to help with this kind of thing. VLCT, some other things with the state of Vermont, so just point me where you want me to go, and I can put stuff in the newspaper, I can do all sorts of different things.
So the VLCT I'm fairly familiar with, they've got a website for it,
They do,
and
Yeah.
people are aware of that, search that.
yes,
So that's a no-brainer,
Yeah.
Mhm,
and it's free, right?
it's free.
mhm.
Well, we pay our membership. fees,
Yeah, so
Right, included with our membership.
So I think we should do that. What options does the state have? They have similar?
So, yeah, so I mean, there's like a website you can go to look for municipal jobs, kind of same kind of thing that the LCT does. I just don't think it's quite as maintained.
Okay.
You can upload job descriptions just like if the LCT they'll broadcast it for you.
Okay, so that's the same thing. It's a no cost issue.
As far as I know, I've never actually used that one. I've used the LCT a couple times
Yeah.
we did our road foreman search.
Yeah. what do you think? I mean, so we're gonna cast at least, that gives us statewide,
That
right?
gives you statewide. If you wanna go bigger than that, then I guess I'd have to look into how that would be done. You know, wanna go New England or whatever. And then, but I don't know what you wanna do locally as far as. You know, obviously we'll put something on our own website,
Yeah,
but, you know, newspapers, we could do Chronicle, Newport Daily, whatever.
So you'll come up with a job description and
Yeah,
send it
well,
around.
yeah, I
her.
mean, we've got one. The town has a job description for my job.
Mhm.
It's about 20 pages long. But that's, I'll have to put something shorter in the newspaper, but, we've got, somebody wrote one for this position and it's what I believe what they've used to hire me and
Wanna
the
it's
people.
pretty good.
people
send
that
it.
came For me, yeah,
You wanna email that to?
absolutely.
Thanks.
We talked about last meeting, was it just your helper
No, no,
we
it's-
wanted to wait on? I know what we're
Yeah.
talking about now, but
right, yeah, and then. I'd like to get this person first and then get the other person second. And
Yeah.
that way this, whoever you get for this job, it might have a little bit of say in who
Yeah.
their helper is.
Cause then it's like, pay and benefits and that type of stuff. There's a pay range
Yes,
according to the state, right?
yeah,
Cause that's what we looked at for.
According to us,
Yeah,
we set that.
yeah, but yeah, so then like any benefits or anything like that,
yeah,
is that part of the job description?
I believe so. I haven't read it in a while, but.
Yeah,
I'm
but
pretty
that's
sure- I'm
also-
pretty sure I mean, it's a very thorough job
Mhm.
description. It doesn't leave anything to the
Mhm.
imagination. You know,
Mhm.
it spells out the duties and what all of that, so.
Mhm.
So you gotta have some target dates and you don't wanna say September.
Right, that was the next part. What's the time frame here?
Well, what's yours?
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, how long, I don't know how long you think somebody might need to be coming in, and getting trained or. You get somebody with experience and they might not need a lot of it. You get somebody that doesn't have any experience and it might take them a month to get rolling. Where they're comfortable here without me here, or without Dave or Deb to, 'cause there are gonna be days where they won't have Dave or Deb either.
So if you get stuff together for the next meeting for us to look at,
Mhm.
and then. So that's the middle of June, then get it posted for how long? 30 days? Deadline? I don't know.
I think as long, I think you're gonna want,
I wouldn't even put a deadline. I'd put a job start date.
yeah,
Mhm.
So the person the town is looking to hire somebody for beginning work on. October 1, Matt,
yeah, it's called in October.
and so. The
But they're-
flexibility is before that, which is we've gotta be flexible for, like, I think Matt's right.
Cause they'd have to come in
Like, you're gonna-
August 1st or September 1st to learn, to
you're-
start.
And you're gonna have to conduct all your interviews before that.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
And that's, that stuff takes time.
mm-hmm.
And if you're gonna all do it would have to be a meeting and. But I think, I think you're gonna get quite a lot of interest for this
Mhm.
position.
Yeah.
You guys, you pay well and it's good benefits and I think you can get some interest for sure.
So. Why don't we leave that? If we say that the job is to begin October 1st,
Mhm.
leave the other date open. We
Right.
don't wanna say we have to have a resume by.
Right.
We're gonna just leave that open. And I think you're right, that time goes too fast. I think if we do the VLCT search, begin that, begin the state potentially, let Matt look at that. And if you can do it, do it.
Right.
The local paper we've been using, Chronicle, sorry, Chris. Because it's worked better, frankly, for us.
Yes,
Right.
as far as hiring it.
Yeah.
versus it has, yeah.
We seem to have gotten more more responses from it, so probably you should do that.
Okay. Right off or?
I would.
Yeah.
And we can refresh it once a month if we need to,
Yeah.
but at least get it going and for what the next, how much does that cost? $500-600?
Not my department.
Yeah, I think it was like that much.
Something like that.
So
It's pretty reasonable.
So maybe do it for the next two,
Next two publications.
two publications for them.
How much are you gonna put in there though for information? Cause I mean.
I think they give you
Yeah, I know, but you're gonna put in some job description. Are you gonna,
I'll put in a brief job description, the start date and the pay or the.
pay range?
Scale.
Pay
Mhm.
scale.
and use the new scale, so get with Dave if you need
Yeah,
to, with
yeah.
the COLA that'll come into effect,
Yeah,
bumping those ranges up.
and I think actually I got an email today where I think we have to include the pay range in these things now.
Yeah.
So it's a new approval.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, we've got.
Yeah.
And then I think you just start accepting those resumes
Right.
and that we can begin,
Begin the interview process.
we can begin it. And so you don't wait until you have 25 of them and, try to
Yeah.
wrestle through the last few weeks of,
Right. You don't have to interview every resume. you
No,
get.
right.
You decide which ones you
right.
want to bring in
And so you could be doing the first cut of that.
Yep.
And then bring it up to us. So I think that's about what we should do.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah, Scott, just real quick before you vote, I wish you would consider advertising in the Express as well. Just to get people who don't get the other publications.
It's expensive. I know, you're right. We have done that
Mhm.
a number of different times and we kept track of the applicants that we got and I gotta tell you, I think the Chronicle sits on everybody's kitchen table. It's a weekly, it just sits there. And for some reason it's gotten us a lot of. And I think you're sort of the same amount of money, if I remember.
Like, man,
Yeah,
I don't know about prices, but, just consider. Because that's the more on paper, and no offense to the Chronicle, but that's the more on paper, that's the paper people read, that's the one they read down here at the diner.
I know,
You go to the diner in the morning and the Express is sitting on the counter.
yeah. We'll keep all those options open. I don't think we should spend $1,000 a week right now on it. But. Let's see what starts happening and if things don't, if we need to keep searching, then we'll throw money at it.
And you've
Point taken.
You've got word of
What's
mouth.
that?
Point taken.
People know that
Yeah.
I'm getting done.
All right.
Yeah, very good. Right, next up is 983 River Road, FEMA closing. So this is our first buyout. The property owners of 983 River Road have accepted the offer from FEMA to buy out their property. And that piece of property is now going to become now be owned by the town of Coventry. And the contract is there on the table, and there's gonna be a closing thing, and some representative from the town is gonna have to be at that meeting and sign those documents on behalf of the town, which I'm happy to do if that's how you guys wanna do it, but just it's a contract and it's a fairly large amount of money. So if a select board member wanted to be there and take part in that and do the signing, that's, nothing wrong, certainly nothing wrong with that. It's gonna be on July 7th, right here at this office. And you're gonna have the property owners there and the lawyer and somebody from the state of Vermont.
Who owns the property, how much is FEMA paying for it?
I'm not sure. The property owners are Andre Brasa and Tammy Brasa.
Tammy Go.
Yeah, Tammy, yeah.
Go-
A
Go,
little
what's
bit.
the last name?
Go,
Go.
Goad.
And you don't know the price?
It's on there, I just,
Would it be, cash, just, I mean,
It's in that.
So they're paying off the they're paying off the
Oh,
mortgage and
so
then
I
they
would-
get the balance. Doesn't say it.
Now to get the flooding,
This is, yeah, this was part of the
FEMA
2023, the July 2023 flood, when FEMA offered buyouts for, floodplain properties.
Yep.
These people got in
Do you know where that is?
and,
It looked, I did like the
No,
Google
they
Maps and it
accepted
looks
it.
like
They
it's,
accepted it.
it sits up high.
what's on,
No,
what's on the
no.
property? Is it-
there is a place to supply, I don't know.
They've got a house and a couple
There's a
small,
barn.
maybe like
Yeah.
small barns.
Oh,
So there's acres, so we
That's
could
how I would describe them. as
rent it out,
small
right?
barns.
We could.
Yes.
So how is that, so FEMA is gonna pay them?
Yep.
And get the property
Yep.
to the town?
FEMA is going to
That's
pay
what they're
them
paying?
and they're going to demolish it. And then the town is responsible for maintaining it as a green space.
Demolish the structures on the property,
That's correct.
so that's gonna be off the tax roll. So what effect is that gonna do on taxes?
You have to ask, our assessor for that answer.
Who's that?
Matt Krajewski.
We don't pay municipal taxes, so it essentially has no effect over.
We don't pay,
There.
Municipal taxes.
right, but you still pay school tax.
Based on a statewide grand list, so it will have, it'll have a negligibly unmeasurable effect over.
Okay,
So what is a green space? So does that mean we have to,
You can't build anything there.
but we don't have to go mow it, it just grows up the grass and.
And then let nature reclaim it if you want, but you can mow it, you can make it, you could put.
The town can rent it out.
Yeah, park benches there, I mean, it's town, it's town property in.
Just can't go.
Until we, I don't think we can sell it or anything like that, I think it's ours now.
Mhm.
And what, maybe we don't have to work, what do they do with all that stuff?
All the house and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, this is the first time this is the first one I've done. This
What do you mean, what do they do with it?
Does it all go to the dump?
It's all demolished and removed.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of these properties will be that are going through these.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know the details, if the owner can, I'm sure can take whatever they want, I'm
Yeah,
sure. But there's very strict rules on timelines and
yes,
so the money, Matt.
Yeah.
This is a FEMA project,
This
this
is a
isn't
FEMA.
the state project,
Yeah.
this is the FEMA
This is
project,
a
so
FEMA.
how's the money working?
I'm assuming it's gonna go directly to the property owners.
I feel like the FEMA stuff went all through FEMA,
Yeah.
where the state stuff
The
comes
state
to the
stuff goes
town.
to us.
And then the town demolishes and gets
And then we get
reimbursed, and
reimbursed.
That's the way
if I
I read it.
remember correctly.
The
that's
The ones that are
state
in the
one.
town.
That's the
So the
state
ones
one.
like the Taylor House and the Grange Hall are gonna be different. They're gonna be.
So this isn't one that's
No, we're
this
gonna
isn't
be-
a reimbursable,
Right.
it's not a
No,
reimbursable,
this is a
FEMA's paying it
I
out.
believe this is a direct transaction between the federal government and
Right.
those property owners.
That's the way I remember it.
Yeah.
Me too, good.
But the town becomes the owner of that. Whatever, how many acres they've got over there now.
Is there any reason? Is there any good sense or good reason why we would want an attorney there?
I don't think so. I mean, like I said, I've never done one of these before, but I don't think. I think our involvement's pretty minimal on this one. We're just gonna sign it and say, yeah, we're good. I mean, I know it might not be a bad idea to have Brian review that. But as far as him being there, I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, we've approved this
Right.
well before. All right, well, you're gonna be there,
I will be there.
and do you guys wanna be there? Do you wanna be there?
When is it? July
July 7th at 11 o'clock.
I mean, I'm already off anyway. I can come.
There you go.
I don't know that I need to, but I can, I will.
Well, if you're there, then you can sign on behalf of the town, because you're a select board.
Somebody should. This is,
It's a big deal.
this is significant. This is something that we've significant. We've got a number of properties, we've got a number of events over the years. We've had a lot of our citizens want this. We've gone through all of the steps. It's important.
Mhm.
And so, and we're the town's gonna take possession of this. So you tag you it?
Yep, I'll go.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
You go the next one.
Sure. Thanks, Gary.
Mhm.
I think Carrie's gonna represent the town.
Carrie and you,
July 7th, 11 AM.
and I'm just gonna get a phone call into Kristen
Yeah, good idea.
and just say FYI. Just. Never know.
Yeah.
But there's nothing for us to do tonight.
There's nothing for you to do tonight. The only thing you would have done is if none of you were gonna go, you would have to motion to say it's all right, can I sign that contract? Since Carrie's gonna be there, then. Don't need to do that.
In my absence, I motion that you take over.
Well, I mean, we'll have another meeting before that, so if it comes to that, we can.
No, I plan to be there. I'm just thinking like if I woke up sick in the morning or something.
Do you have this obviously on email?
Yes, that. You'd like to.
Just so it's.
Yep.
In my sight when
Yep.
I'm talking to them. I'm sure they're dealing with it in a number of other towns,
Right.
so they're gonna be versed. Thank you, Carrie.
Mhm.
All right, next up is the special town meeting, which will be held on June 10th. So postcards went out and hopefully everybody got those.
Got mine.
It's been in the Newport, where's Chris? This was gonna stay. It's been in the Newport Daily Express for the last 4 weeks. One day a week for the last 4 weeks. It's been in the paper. It's been on the website. It's gonna get posted up around town, just like our regular things.
Mhm.
So just an FYI that we're gonna need you guys here next.
And Deb's perfect.
Deb, you ready to go, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Thank you, Deb, for
Thank
that
you.
flexibility you gave us.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And I'll have election officials here as well, just in case if there is a request for a ballot vote-in, that I'll have the necessary individuals to be able to do that.
Here, you have that.
Thank you very much.
It was here. So
Yeah,
didn't
what?
that stack?
It should be in one of those.
Yeah, I saw it a minute ago.
Just give it to them.
There you go. Article that got tabled during our normal town meeting.
Have that. Okay, other business.
Setting my timer. 3
I
minutes.
had, last meeting, we talked about the hydrants. Is that supposed to be? Something we talked about, who's gonna fix them?
Right, well, yeah, well, Phil had a. He wanted an independent company to test them all, and there was a price tag on that. But I didn't have a chance to talk with Phil between that meeting and this meeting, so I wasn't on this agenda, that's why.
Mhm.
In the beginning, we talked about some stuff that was maybe gonna be on the next meeting, but I just was thinking about the hydrants and.
So. All of our dry hydrants were tested. This, I don't know, a few months ago, Matt,
Yes.
3 months, maybe, by Orleans. And 2 of them, maybe more than that failed, I don't know, but I know at least a couple of them, were inoperable. And they fixed them, whatever it is that they did, I don't know, but one of them I do believe it needed parts.
Mhm.
And I don't know the other issue, so the chief in Orleans, I think they painted some too. The chief in Orleans has let us know that they've tested them all, they're all operational. So we have that, so we're good there today.
Yeah.
So. in that meeting, that kind of a whirlwind issue there, a lot came at us at once. Those issues that Phil was talking about, some of them go back a couple of years where the town had been searching for grants for different aspects of that, including potentially bridge mounts, I think.
Yeah, yeah, there, he was looking at, a couple bridges where he'd like to.
Yeah. But those weren't, I don't think the grants were for the bridges. I
No,
think
I
the
don't
grants.
Yeah. That was a separate.
We're different.
Yeah.
So we were getting a lot of things all at once there, and there was price tags, all that. So I think was,
$6,500,
Something
E.
like that,
Yeah.
yeah.
so you're up to 13,000, and then there was more money that, and we just got them done. So what I do agree with Phil on, and have actually been asking that to be done now for years, is somebody contract with us, we go contract the service, so that's, it's an annually performed service that we have completed for us and documented that they've done it. And we still haven't achieved that, so we're going to achieve that. It seems like it's gonna be a rough go, but we're gonna have it.
Is it just the fire departments? Is there companies out there that actually go around and do that?
There's
Do the
always,
fire departments not like to do it? It seems like the fire department should be the ones doing it. They're the ones using them.
that has been my, and Matt's, can I speak for you, Matt? That has been our opinion now for years. So we, the town, have tried many times to communicate on that. We did just make some changes in the last, 18 months or so around the contracts, right? We've got a new boundary for the Newport services and the Orleans services, and we did the same thing with our emergency services with the ambulance. And so it's been longer than that we were attempting to, because Newport had the bulk of those things and we're using those, we were trying to get them to do that, and we failed miserably. It just, the reality is it didn't happen. We couldn't achieve that. So it's important. We knew there's been dry hydrants that have not been operable. And so we reached out at once again, now that we have new contracts with each 6 months ago, I can't remember how long ago it was, to both departments, and we said, this is what we want. Matt did all this work. This is what we want. This is what we're seeking. We'll pay an aside for the service, or we can wrap it into the fee for service, however you want to do, rolling average, however you want to do it. And Newport never responded.
And Orleans just did it for free.
And so Orleans finally called and said, we'll just take care of it. We do it for other towns. It's part of a training. I like our guys to know what they're doing out there. So they came in and they did it all. And now we've got, the director coming back with this stuff again. So I got frustrated and said, so I don't know where we're at with that. I think I agree with you. Right now, we're good, but maybe in the next number of months, we should reach out again and say to them, try to pin that down more, Matt, and try to say, can we work it into the contract for one of you?
Yeah.
If whoever wants to do it, or would you do it for us annually at a fee and give us an inspection sheet, something that we know? So we can certainly try that again.
Okay.
But right now it's been done and we have that documentation. The other pieces, we'll talk to Phil again, or we'll ask him to come in.
Cause the other question could be to other towns to say, who does yours? Maybe there's a company out there, VLCT, that we could
Yep.
say, hey, we're looking for somebody to perform this service.
Yep. Yeah, we definitely have to have it done.
Mhm.
I believe our current contracts will do it, inclusive of their contract figure. I believe it's what they're doing with other towns, so.
I'm saying instead of pulling teeth and trying to get somebody to do it, they
Yes.
just,
That's where Matt and I got to.
Okay.
And then the other thing I had was the 8th grade graduation speech.
Hmm.
Yeah, don't forget about that.
That speech.
next week.
I wanted to bring it tonight, but I didn't have it quite done, but just representing the select board, I'll give it to Matt, so you can read it, and it's not, I don't think I want that in there, something like that. So,
Nice.
You're gonna do great, Dan.
thanks.
I think that's next
You will.
Wednesday, isn't it? So
Yes,
it's Tuesday
it's the day
special.
after the special town
Yeah,
meeting.
Tuesday
Yeah.
special meeting, Wednesday's the graduation, I think it's 6.
Thanks again for doing that for us,
Yeah.
Dan.
Yeah.
Cows.
Yeah, cows,
The cows on Airport Road?
Yep.
Yep.
It just came from there.
so. Great, everybody's done a good job. Thank you, Matt, for all you've done. Thanks, Renee. Thanks, Deb. I've been getting calls, texts and emails, daily on the naughty cows that keep running around. They can't catch them. That's the issue. So Renee's done a lot of work. She has people who are ready to go help. When the call comes, they've got fences, stock, cattle gates, cattle panels.
Yep.
Set up with grain and feed and trying to get, when they get out, to get in there. But so far, they've eluded them. So obviously, and I understand 100%, everybody's very upset. These things haven't happened. The last discussion that I had was folks asking us, the town, to not wait any longer to go to the property of the owner and take the cows.
Just gotta catch them.
And, no, they're suggesting we go to the property owner and get them there. I don't think that's a very good, sounds like a very good idea. Renee, I talked with her yesterday and today, and that's a warrant issue. That's a legal law enforcement warrant issue. And even though I think there is some room for that ability, I sure like to see them dealt with different than that, but just know it continues, the issue continues, the cows are still getting out daily.
Yeah.
There are letters that have been out, fines are coming,
Yep.
if not already gone. And so, you know, Renee's doing what the ordinance tells her to do. And there's people there to help in the event that they think it's time, but you know, so when you get those calls and you guys hear that stuff, that's where everything's at that I know of. Am I missing
I
anything?
don't think at all.
Yeah, they've been named to call me too. They might have some more help. I think in time they'll.
Yep,
um,
more the merrier. But as far as the town exercising some level of authority to go onto that property owner's property, I say not. I would say we certainly can't do that right now because you don't have a warrant. But you know, going down the road of seeking that warrant would definitely be at this table, a conversation here, and include a lot of other people than us. So I've tried to, you know, let other folks know that, and they're frustrated, and I get it.
How many houses, how many cows are you talking?
I'm gonna say a half a dozen.
6, yeah.
Okay, that's kind of what I found.
Yeah.
From the sounds of it, not a whole lot, but enough that's.
Yeah, they're quick. Yeah. So. The issue will resolve itself. It's not gonna resolve itself as fast as folks wanted to, and I understand that. 100%. So thank you, Dan, for taking those phone calls, and I'm sure you'll be getting them if you haven't.
I have not.
They get out. I almost had phone calls on me this week ago.
What else you got
Sal?
there?
That's it. Got your, approval of minutes?
Mike Dowd got out too.
Mine are over in Lawson's factory.
They're
Still there.
happy.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. I mean, it happens.
Yeah,
So go get them.
But yours aren't out every day.
no.
All right, what are we doing now?
Minutes.
Minutes? Oh, are we good?
We're good. I think we're good.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, one other point of question before you adjourn. Did I say Mr. Mayor, Mr. Chair?
I don't know.
Mr.
Mayor.
I don't know. I don't listen. What's up, Chris?
Who? Did the town hire anybody to clean the headstones at the cemeteries? Was that Coventry or was that another town?
The
I don't-
cemetery,
We have a cemetery.
cemetery commission, I think,
I
is,
mean, it looked,
I think they're cleaning some stones. They were, I feel like they talked about they were cleaning like a third of them or
well, that's
something.
what I.
Rhonda talk about that
Yeah.
at one of the meetings he came to?
Yeah.
What's that?
Dan Rondo is the one that,
That's what I was thinking. I mean, the cemetery looks well maintained, but I was up there for, Memorial Day to look at my father's stone. And it's really hard to read. I mean, no offense to anybody by any means, but it's just really difficult to read. It looks really worn and it's. I hate to say it's not that old, it's only like 15 to 16 years old. It doesn't sound old, but I guess it is.
Mhm.
I mean, again, no offense, I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
No,
I
yeah,
know.
the cemetery commission takes care of all that, and they're always cleaning some, but I think they had a pretty good plan. So I don't know the detail of it. You could ask them.
Okay, I hope I'm not offending anybody.
No.
no.
We're unoffendable.
Nope, that's a good point.
And you missed you left the room and Matt said we've been running an ad in the Newport Daily once a week for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You didn't even see it, you don't even read
Is today's paper?
You guys are.
Motion to approve the select board meetings for the town of Coventry, Monday, May 19th, 2025, as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, warrants. And then I don't know if you saw Deb's email, but she's probably gonna wait an extra week.
Oh, yeah.
So you, right, Deb?
Yeah, I agreed with it.
That is correct, because we have 5 Mondays in June. So if I do the warrants for the next meeting, which will be June 16th, the next warrant package wouldn't be until July 7th. Which is a long time, so I just recommended that the next warrant package I will send to Scott on June 16th. For him to go ahead and review, and then the next one, on June 23rd. For him to review. And then the next one will be back in line with the 2-week schedule for July 7th.
Yeah, it's good
That's
for me.
fine.
Because June 16th is just way too early. We're gonna have so many bills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, do it.
Okay,
You.
We bought a new laptop.
Yep.
So that old one we can use if we need to. Are we keeping that or was it?
I think that was gonna replace that.
So it's,
That piece of junk that you use every year.
Yeah. so that one's going away.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what is that one? Just an extra?
Yeah, it's one that's been here since I've been here, and Scott kind of takes it once a year to write the select board message on, but it's old and
Mhm.
you need something better.
Cause they got the desktop one.
He's gonna guess.
Not to just get the desktop one.
Motion to accept the warrant as written.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye. Make a motion to adjourn.
Right. And that'll be at 6:25. All of you.
All in favor?
Aye. I'm